I am Dr. Donald Ozello, Championship Chiropractic in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you for viewing today's episode of Dr. Ozello Sports Medicine Report. On today's episode, I'm going to cover cervical spine strengthening exercises. The cervical spine is the medical name for the neck. I'm going to use a device called the neck flex. I highly recommend the neck flex. There will be a link that I place below that will take you to the neck flex website. There's a great deal of information on their site. It'll teach you how to use the device properly. It'll show you a variety of exercises performed by the experts at neck flex. What I'm going to describe today are exercises that you can use to strengthen the neck for injury prevention in sports and in everyday activities. When we think about our athletes who play football, wrestling, hockey, any type of combat sports, a strong neck is vital. There has been research that shows that having a strong neck helps to prevent concussions and helps prevent recurrence of concussions. So you want to make sure that you keep your neck as strong as possible. Also, if you have a neck injury, performing these exercises will help to rehab your neck injury. When you are performing any type of exercise, you want to make sure that you work through a pain-free range of motion. Even if that motion is very limited, you want to stay in that pain-free range of motion. If an exercise elicits pain or symptoms or intensifies pain or symptoms, you want to go ahead and stop that exercise. When you are using the neck flex, proper technique is vital. Proper technique is vital in all exercises, but especially when you are strengthening the neck. Put the neck flex on the head so it fits snugly. You want to make sure that you have it positioned correctly. Now, one thing that I really like about the neck flex is that it has the handles on both sides, and handle in the front and handle in the back. So that gives you two attachments to your resistance, which makes it a very safe piece of equipment. Now, one thing that I always think about when I'm doing this is there's some exercises where I like to keep the ears tucked in, and there's some exercises where it's just more comfortable to keep the ears out. So really, whatever works is better for you. But when you're performing any type of neck exercise, you want to make sure that you hold the thoracic spine, which is the mid-back, in good posture, and you hold the shoulder blades in good posture. If you're trying to strengthen the neck and you're seated like this, it's not going to do you much good. So you keep the thoracic spine in a good position, keep the shoulder blades in a good position while you are attempting to strengthen the neck. Now, getting back to proper usage of the neck flex, again, on their website, they have a very detailed explanation on how to use it, so I do recommend you go to their site. But what you want to do is you attach the chin strap and then Velcro it into a position where it feels nice and comfortable. Again, make sure that it's fit snugly on the head. Now, the first exercise that I'm going to perform is cervical flexion. So on this one, the resistance is placed behind you, and the resistance is always attached to you. When you're doing this one, both sides, you attach it to the right-hand side and the left-hand side using these clamps, and you have a resistance band that comes with the neck flex. Now, you may also see these hanging down right here. These are for if you want to add weight. There is a chain that's available, or a chain that comes with the advanced version of the neck flex, and you can add a weight plate to that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to use the resistance band that they provide. When you are doing cervical flexion, I'm going to do it in the seated position. You want to grip the resistance band with both hands. Again, make sure that you are seated in good posture. The thoracic spine should be straight and the scapula should be retracted. You're going to slowly move the neck forward where you're bringing the chin to the chest. And then you want to control the motion going back to the starting position. So you are moving slowly, bringing the chin to the chest, performing the flexion, and then controlling the eccentric phase of the exercise on the return. I recommend that you build to 15 repetitions. Now, there is another way to do this one where you are in a supine position, in the crab walk position. I'm not going to demonstrate that today, but that is also very effective way to perform cervical flexion. Now I'm going to perform, I gotta move the resistance bands to the front and to the back. I'm going to perform lateral flexion, which is bending the neck from side to side. Again, you always want to make sure that you work through a pain-free range of motion. Put the clamps on nice and snug to the front and to the back. And you are going to bring the resistance out so that the resistance band is nice and level. You don't want it to be down here. You don't want it to be up here. Just keep that arm straight. You also want to make sure the arm is not forward, the arm is not backwards, that it is lined up with the spine. So get in a good position and slowly bring the neck to the opposite side through a pain-free range of motion, and then back to the starting position. Now this is not working the neck. I see people do this. This is not working the neck. You want to hold the resistance and move the neck so you are moving the ear towards the shoulder. Motion should be performed slowly, especially when you are learning this exercise, and then you return slowly to the starting position. So you are working the concentric phase, and then you control the motion in the eccentric phase. And then you want to work the opposite side. I just performed lateral flexion of the cervical spine going to the left. Now I'm going to perform it going to the right. Now you may be stronger on one side than the other side. If that's the case, then just perform a few additional reps for the side that is not as strong. Perform the exercise slowly and move back to the starting position slowly. Now this can also be performed with the resistance band attached to a sturdy surface, say like an exercise machine. You just want to make sure that you are seated in good posture and you are using good technique. Okay, the best way to perform cervical extension is in a push-up position or a modified push-up position. You can see I have the resistance bands again attached to the right-hand side and the left-hand side. On this one, you can modify the amount of resistance by moving your hands closer together or farther apart. You get into push-up position or modified push-up position, and you want to make sure that there is resistance in the starting position when the neck is all the way down. And then you slowly extend the neck through a pain-free range of motion, and then slowly return to the starting position. This is going to help to strengthen the muscles in the neck, help to improve your posture, help you to rehabilitate a neck injury, and to prevent a neck injury, and maybe even to prevent concussions. You want to work through a pain-free range of motion. Move slowly. And now, like I said before, you're in a push-up position. You want to make sure that you are holding that perfect plank and then extending the neck through a pain-free range of motion. You can move your hands out farther to increase the resistance. Again, I am Dr. Donald Ozello of Championship Chiropractic in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I highly recommend this piece of equipment called the Neck Flex. You can go to the link that I placed below to learn more about the Neck Flex. They have a great website with a great deal of information. This is a fantastic piece of equipment that I highly recommend for any athlete or anyone who is not an athlete but may have had an injury or is trying to prevent an injury or improve their posture. This is a great tool to help to strengthen the neck. It has some safety features that I really like. Like I said, the attachments on both sides and in the front, and then the additional attachments down here for if you want to add a chain and a weight plate. Thank you for viewing today's episode of Dr. Ozello's Sports Medicine Report. Please feel free to like this video. If you have feedback, suggestions, or questions, please leave them in the comments section below. If you want to learn more about my book, you can visit my website, championshipchiropractic.com. My book is titled Running, Maximize Performance, and Minimize Injuries. You can also go to my blog, which is attached to my website, again, championshipchiropractic.com. Thank you very much for viewing today's episode of Dr. Ozello's Sports Medicine Report, where I went over cervical spine strengthening exercises and the neck flex. Like I said, I highly recommend this piece of equipment. This is an outstanding tool to help to strengthen your neck. Always, always remember, train hard, train smart, and stay injury free.